Warning, contains strong language.
Just to say, I was planning this video way before it was announced Archie canceled the Sonic comics. I am upset that it is over, but IDW is now going to take over, and I am curious how they will pull it off. And now, let's talk about a Sonic comic series that people seem to forget exists still, which is Sonic the Comic. I get pretty disappointed when people seem to know Fleetway Super Sonic, but they don't read the comic where he came from, because, goddamn, this is a great series. Let me tell you, Sonic the Comic is my favorite comic series, and it contains my favorite villains, and in my opinion, the best Sonic. Wait, that Sonic who was being a quote-unquote dick to everyone? Oh, I will explain why later. Let me tell you a bit about my childhood. I still have some Sonic the Comic issues somewhere in my house, and I remember specific scenes that stick to my head, especially when Super Sonic showed up. Now, Sonic the Comic did come from the UK, which is the country I live in, by the way, and I never heard of the Archie comics until I used the internet. Archie didn't really catch my attention due to the, shippings and drama, but I did enjoy some stories and the fact they brought back lost characters, like Team Hooligan. Although it has been a while since I read Sonic the Comic, I decided to go back and read some issues on this great website where you could read pretty much every Sonic comic that existed. Link will be in the description. I found myself enjoying this series all over again, and I kept reading. I still didn't read all the issues, so don't expect me to know everything about the story. For this video, I really wanted to express why I love this series so much and why people need to read it. I did find it difficult on how I was going to say it, so I decided to do my list on top 10 reasons I love Sonic the Comic. So without further ado, let's begin, ladies and gentlemen. Warning! There will be spoilers and opinions! Number 10. The Artstyles. Okay, I don't mean all the art styles. Sometimes if scenes are drawn right, it can look really pretty. I love the attention on detail when given on some backgrounds and characters, and when things are drawn right, they can look outstanding. The best examples are when the villains are drawn. Again, not all of it.
You know, neck, you kinda look fucking weird there, you know that? Your neck, it's, you know what, never mind.
There's a bunch of times where the villains can look terrifying when done right. Robotnik is scary in general. Emperor Metallics, even although he just sits on his ass, still puts you on edge due to the angles drawn on him. If I remember right, Sonic the Comic was done by a low budget, so I can give credit that effort was given on the drawings, although sometimes it can look ugly or hilarious. Yeah. Blue Pineapple has appeared! Number 9. Explanations and backstories. Don't get me wrong, Archie did explain some things, such as how Sonic was created, but Sonic the Comic did the same, however they took it a step further. Such as, Kinderbird turning into Robotnik was a tragedy for Sonic, since you find out later Sonic was the one who had to make it happen, by going in the past causing him to trip and fall to his fate, just so the Metallics didn't happen. There are other explanations, such as where did the Chaos Homes come from, and it turns out the Dracons have been creating these things for fucking years. There are also some more stories that you hear about the Echidnas, which you mostly hear about from Toxicol or Knuckles. There also seems to be a backstory for almost everybody. Amy gets her own story to explain on how she became a pink hedgehog, which is pretty much the same situation of what happened to Sonic. Shadow's backstory is a lot different than the Shadow in the games. Instead, he was found by Kinderbird and got taken care of, which is why he gets pissed at Sonic for turning Kinderbird into Robotnik. Even Knack gets his own backstory. Do I look fucking pretty? Number 8. No shippings. Call it a nitpick, but I feel relieved that there is no characters who are a couple. Sorry to say, but I don't like Sonic in a relationship. It just doesn't go with him. Sonic is a free spirit. He wants to run off and do whatever the hell he wants. So thank God when Amy appeared for the first time, sure, she already had a crush on Sonic, but that was it. Sonic made it clear that he had no interest for her whatsoever. Amy was a young girl who just fangirled over Sonic, but later she actually grew up and got over Sonic. Like it was just a phase she had. Johnny actually hinted that he might have had a crush on Amy instead, and it seems Amy had a thing for Johnny too, but that ended in tragedy. The comic can then focus on more on the action and characters and what they know best than just I can't believe you're based on so fast! Yeah, that.
This is not okay.
Number 7. Everyone gets their own story. Pretty much on every issue, they take the stories in parts. For example, one for Sonic and the others can be for Knuckles or Tails. It's just so everyone gets a chance to have the spotlight. I mean, sure, Sonic is the main hero, but don't forget that there are other characters who have their own adventures too. And every story is different from each other. What's great is that you don't have to read the other stories. Sonic's story is where the main plot is shown. But if you want to see the other doing some kick-ass, then yeah, you should read them. Number 6. Still continuing as Sonic the Comic Online. This is why Sonic the Comic was never dead. It's sad that people who read Sonic the Comic don't know this exists. Well, how I discovered this was thanks to a close friend of mine. Basically, after Sonic the Comic ended suddenly, there was later a website called Sonic the Comic Online. And yes, the same people are behind it. The differences are the art styles, and you can watch the new comics for free online. For people who are fans of Sonic the Comic, I would highly recommend to read these. It continues off the story like normal, and all the characters you knew are there. It is still continuing to this day, although it is quite slow in uploading new issues. So yeah, Sonic the Comic was always around, it's just nobody knew. If you want to see this website, there will be a link in the description. I love the new issues, trust me, they are worth the read. Number 5. Dark Themes. Oh boy, let me tell you. Sonic the Comic is not really a happy world to be in. Everywhere you go is disaster after disaster. Nobody can chill off from the batshit crazy things they witness. Such as, there was a time where Robotnik 1 got all the Chaos Emeralds and became a god. And from that, he altered the timeline so Sonic never existed, and so then nobody in the present knows him. It's a dark atmosphere. And to nail it more on Sonic, as it's been said Sonic was never around, if you know how Sonic met Tails in this series, well, since he wasn't around, Tails is already dead. Like, damn, a child drowned. Death is addressed in this series. It's not, oh, that person will come back to life. Nope, when that person is dead, they are dead. Shown on one big issue where suddenly Sonic's close friend, Johnny, dies. This big event changed Sonic forever. And yes, Johnny was a well-known character in the series who was there ever since the beginning. In Sonic the Comic Online, there was a special issue where Sonic and Johnny travel in the future and the two Sonics get into a fight only because of a misunderstanding. While this is going on, Johnny discovers a statue of himself and reads the tablet. And from that he realizes he's going to die. Ow! After the fight breaks up, Johnny gives the future Sonic parting words and goes back to the past. This was quite heart-wrenching to read. Shadow appears in Sonic the Comic Online, and he has a tragic backstory with Kingdom, and later he actually sacrifices himself to save Robotnik even though he is no longer Kingdom. That is already sad. And no, he does not come back. Shadow is dead. Later, there is a Shadow who's an antivirus program, but that is not the same Shadow as he has a different personality and he hates Robotnik. So yeah, there are a bunch of dark themes in this series. I just want to give the moments that hit me hard the most to give you a taste on how dark the series is. Yeah, it's pretty depressing. Number 4. Badass action. Just look at it. Look at these panels. Even though in some panels it can look a bit silly. but it doesn't stop it from looking so engaging. Fleetway, for example, can never stop being eye-catching. Like, for God's sake, even when he just stands there, it's engaging. Breach! I can hardly say that all the fight scenes are good. As you can see, heart was given when drawing these scenes. I love them, I love them, I love them! Number 3. Character development. Oh yes. Since every character has their own story, you can bet your ass character development was there. For example, Tails felt like he was useless for Sonic back then, but suddenly he gets called by some people who are the same species as him, which leads to him to become his own hero. Amy gets over Sonic and decides to have her own adventure with Techno, and she does a lot of badass moments. Even the Weasel, Knack, we get to know more about. He becomes a fucking zone leader, just to gain power and free his people from slavery. It was going well until... You! Out of this house! Oh, fuck you, Dad! I'm gonna bomb this place, now! War starting now! Number 2. Villains. Sonic the Comic contains most of my favorite villains, and funny enough, most of them are geniuses. Including that Weasel Beach! If you watch my video on my top 6 favorite Sonic villains in comics, you would know Fleetway and Knack are my top favorite. However, back then, I couldn't decide which Eggman I liked, but since I read more of the Sonic the Comic, I went to the conclusion, yeah, I prefer Robotnik. Why? Because he was successful at points and he was truly insane. He was so crazy that when Chaos broke free, he didn't give a single shit. He got to that level where he didn't care about taking over the world anymore. He just wanted to see the world burn along with him. Even Grimer is like, you're fucking mad. I shouldn't miss out saying Grimer, in my opinion, is more successful than Robotnik. Cause thanks to him creating the metallics, they are like the most dangerous thing made. And Grimer later inside the comic line does get revenge on Sonic. Now, Mr. Crazy Cheese Puff here, I can't stop watching. I don't know why, but whenever he is going crazy and making these phases, it just makes me laugh and want to pinch his cheeks. He looks adorable. He's an adorable psycho. Never thought I would call a psycho adorable. And now, this guy, who is my favorite villain of all time, Knack the Weasel. I still find it amazing how he just gets away from shit and it turns out he can do fucking science. And yes, I am the Aussie Jesus. There are a whole bunch of other villains I enjoyed as well, such as Brutus, Sidewiner, Captain Plunder. Like, really dude, seriously? And now, for the top reason why I love Sonic the Comic. It's... Sonic. Just Sonic. So it has come to this. How can I possibly choose this Sonic over any Sonic that exists? Well, he has something that they don't. And that is being human and relatable. Don't get me wrong, Jason Griffith's Sonic is my second favorite Sonic as he did show emotion, but Sonic the Comic Sonic has gone through shit. Like, my god, give this poor guy a hug, please. Whenever it looks like he's being a dick to his friends, he really doesn't mean it. He has a lot of shit on his mind and it gets to him. He is stressed, he is pressured, sometimes he can do stupid shit out of fear. He suffers from depression due to his close friend Johnny passing away, and because of that, he has a fear of losing someone again. After Johnny's death, you see him just sitting in his room grieving. He doesn't give a shit right now if his room's a mess, it shows that he's torn apart. It clearly shows that Sonic is just like us. I may be looking a bit too deep, but I never had that feeling where I wanted to hug Sonic so badly. He stayed in his room for a while, however, while this is happening, shit got worse. When Chaos breaks into Angel Island and steals all the Chaos Emeralds, and because of that, Knuckles wanted to kill himself. No joke. But luckily, Sonic came back later freshened up. But this time, Sonic actually changed himself a bit, as he believed it was his fault that Johnny died. He felt responsible and is willing to learn from his mistakes. He took shit more seriously and continued to fight on. Even when you get a demon inside of you. Yeah, life was not getting any better for him. Not only does he now have to deal on controlling his anger and stress, but he now has to deal with the whole world misunderstanding him. Right now, people are against him because of some great big setup, and it was a setup by Grimer of all people. And it kept getting worse and worse for Sonic as people have been sucked up by the media believing Sonic is the bad guy, but Robotnik is misunderstood. Yeah, this world is crazy. Even Sonic's friends fell for it. Well, that was only because a metallic disguised as him went on to fool everyone to think he turned evil. And, I am not gonna lie, that one issue when Grandma just went up to Sonic and told him that how he only did this for revenge and just walked off leaving him to cry was just unbelievable. Grandma did a horrible plan that pinned Sonic as a criminal and won. And just to point out, Robotnik was gone the whole time due to him going insane. But goddamn, Sonic cannot get a single break. You literally see him wandering in the streets, trying to survive and keeping his stress levels down. And even when he tries, it doesn't always work. Seriously guys, give this guy a hug. He really needs it. Clearly shows that even if you're a hero and try to stay tough, your true feelings will gush out. And that is my top reason why I love Sonic the Comic. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are interested in Sonic the Comic, then you can read it with a link in the description. Sonic the Comic Online will be there too. See you guys in the next video.
Whoa! Yeah! Whoa! Whoa!